So this is my R2, and I have been building him since December of 2015. And while building him, I've learned a lot about a lot of things. I've learned how to weld. I welded these foot drives together. I learned how to make circuit boards. I built these two circuit boards and this one. These two are buck converters, and they convert 6 volts to 9 volts and 12 volts to 9 volts and 12 volts to 6 volts. And I created the board layouts. I had them fabricated. I had solder stencils created. Then once I got the boards back from the fabricator, I used the solder stencil to put solder paste on, and I placed all of the components, even these tiny little 0402s. And then I used a toaster oven to reflow the solder so that I could have surface mount boards, so they wouldn't have to be huge. And this part also has some surface mount parts, but I just used a very, very small tip on a soldering iron for those. And this is a PS2 controller shield. So it's a shield that just goes on an Arduino and hooks up all the proper things so I can control the R2 without having to have a whole bunch of wires going to this PS2 controller. This PS2 controller controls the foot drives, which are these, and are controlled specifically by this. It just sends signals to tell it when to turn on, when to move. It has the dome drives, which lets me spin the head, so I can move the head back and forth on it. And this is the main dome controller, and it also controls the MP3 trigger, which allows me to play sounds. So I also 3D printed several parts on my R2. I 3D printed these hollow eyes, I 3D printed the dome bumps, and several pieces on the front of the R2. Like these. And I 3D printed those on my 3D printer that I built and I have at my house. So I can print out whichever pieces I want, and I can make the schematics for them, and I can size them for my R2. So if on some people's, for example, domes, this might be a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger, the hole here. So I can size it exactly to fit my R2. So I know that it will work. And I've also got these dome lights that I can program to say whatever I want on them. And they're controlled by an Arduino Pro Mini. You can look inside of here to see all the wiring in here. And everything in here is hooked up using a slip ring, so the wires won't get tangled up on themselves. The slip ring is right here, and then the controls are right over here. And you can see that little Pro Mini controls all of these. It has a program on it that will allow it to change the lights to whatever it is I want. So if I want it to say something, I can make it say something. For example, if I was going to go do a presentation somewhere like college, I could have it say the college's name, or I could thank them for letting me be there, or something similar. So, if you watch this, when I first start my R2 up, it has the words Indiana Tech Engineering Camp playing across it, because that's the last place where I had this droid. I had it there on Friday, and I was presenting to them and showing everyone there the awesome things that you could do with an Arduino. And this is controlled entirely by Arduinos, and with my programming. So, yeah, this is my R2. So yeah, I can move him around, I can make him make sounds, he can do whatever it is I want him to do, pretty much. Oh, and eventually, I'm going to have these dome panels open up and close, one of them is going to have that little radar icon out, and then the others I'm going to have to just do whatever I want. And I currently have the back open so you can see all the wiring inside of them. So eventually I'm going to have many more things that can move and do all kinds of different stuff. I just haven't decided what all I want it to do yet.